Well, hello there, all my friends on the interwebs who love miniatures. I'm Doc Eon. It's a Monday, and I'm here to ramble about specifically those things, miniatures, that I mean. It is in fact Monday, the 13th of June, 2020, and we're looking at some finished minis. This is mostly Reaper. This lady here is by Hassle-Free Miniatures. As you can see, it's a modern day mini, as opposed to all the fantasy guys. We have a sort of fantasy Sinbad or something here. We have a fighter. We have a classical wizard. We have a very flamboyantly colored bard. We have another fighter, probably a paladin. Another wizard or cleric of some sort. He's not wearing any weapons or armor at the moment, so he could be either one. In the back we have a werebat, or perhaps a vampire in werebat form because he's standing on a coffin. And we have the hippocampus from the Dark Depths in Bones 5. And yeah, I'm fairly pleased how all these turned out. This guy, the bard, was difficult because the colors I chose, the magenta and the yellow, were not cooperating that much with me. I'm both the werebat and the campus. I sort of gave up on coming up with some interesting color schemes, and they are just extremely basic and simple. Just a couple of colors. You know what? Sometimes simple can be effective, as opposed to the riot of colors on this fighter, for example. Now, I have one more thing to show you that does not fit in the same shot as all the others. So let's fade to that. Surprise! I actually finished this sucker. He's really big. It's hard to fit him in one shot. And by finished, I mean decided I didn't want to spend more time on him and said this is good enough. As with many big projects. I don't know how I'm going to get good still pics of him because he doesn't fit in my light box. And it's really hard to get good lighting anywhere else. We'll see. I'll figure something out. But anyway, putting the Sea Giant to rest means that the Dark Depths expansion from Bones 5 is completed. It is done and dusted, as was previously the Brinewind expansion. So let's see what I move on to. Probably Dungeon Dwellers, which is also an expansion. And I've already done a couple of minis from that. So yeah, it's the natural progression. After that, probably the core set. And also we have all the add-ons, the options. The options, I vary between calling them options and add-ons because previous campaigns called them add-ons, but in Bones 5 I think they were called options. Like extra minis outside the core set and the expansions. A lot of the ones I got from that were really, really big minis, like huge minis, sort of like this guy. And I'm going to try to finish those during my summer break because, of course, I have more time to paint then. So if I can get all of those, or even most of those, done before school starts up again in the autumn, yeah, that would be good. That's like a goal of mine, an ambition, let's say. Don't want to quite call it a plan. Anyway, that finishes off the finished stuff for this week. Let's move on to works in progress. Well, here we're looking at the humans and human-like people. There's a dwarf here that I'm working on. First off, we have this Renaissance fencer, who I mentioned is going to be probably a figure for my Warhammer character. And he's kind of off the books, as I have also mentioned. We have the remaining 3 female magic users have been started. And I'm gonna bring these to the game store tonight for the painting evening. I'm not gonna bring this guy because he's resin, and these the dagger and sword are very thin and fragile. I don't think I can transport him. So I very quickly prepped, primed, and base coated, at least for the metallics, these three standard, like a cleric with a hammer, and a dwarf with an axe, and a wizard with a staff. These are Reaper Bones from the Dungeon Dwellers expansion to Bones 5. I picked them out because these two are mostly metal, so they're quick and easy to paint. The wizard's going to take a little bit longer, and I mean, he's very similar to the wizard I just painted, but I'll pick different colors for him. If the one I just painted was very gray, maybe I'll do this one brown. So he's Radagast instead of Gandalf. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah. That's. But yeah, I mean, these 6. There's so little left on them because I've painted the skin and the hair on the ladies and all the metal on the dudes, and started the skin at least. I might finish all of these 6 this evening, so I'm gonna need some more stuff to paint. And let's look at what else I've prepared. On this table we have a whole slew of sci-fi troopers from Heresy Miniatures. I had them assembled last week. Now I've based them with using some crackle medium to get that cracked earth effect, and primed them, and that's as far as we've gotten, but they are looking more uniform already. Now I've got some ideas for how to paint them. We'll see how it turns out. Yeah, I am not 100% certain how to do it, but like I said, some ideas. Stick around for next week and you'll see how far I've gotten. Okay, so for next week, new projects. One thing is that I'm gonna keep prepping some more of these hassle-free minis. Painted one already. I'm gonna prep some more. But the other thing is I need to keep plugging away at my Reaper pile, and I've actually decided to bypass the Kickstarter for a little bit and instead paint some dragons. We have here, I've had these for a while. They've been sitting around waiting for the right time. We have the young Swamp Dragon, the Swamp Dragon hatchling. Swamp Dragons is what Reaper calls black dragons. And then we have Ebonwrath. With a name like Ebonwrath, it has to be a black dragon. So I'm going to paint these 3 and you can tell by the shape of his head with the horns that he is a canonical D&D black dragon. The others are not really that, but I'm not a stickler for that. After this, the reason is that I've painted red, blue, and green dragons, but never black or white. And I have a few models for white dragons, but I'm going to save those for Christmas, wintertime, December, January, when I traditionally paint winter-themed minis. I'm going to do the black dragons now. And yeah, at least prep these for next week. I'm going to have to... this one, big one, doesn't have a base at all. I'll have to see if I can come up with something fun. So these might take a while. Okay, so this one's been opened and things are spilling out. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah, with everything else going on, this should be enough. If it isn't, well, I'll just grab some more stuff from the Bones 5 Kickstarter. Don't know what yet, but I'll pick something. Yeah. With that half-baked plan, we're ending this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Click like if you did. Even if you didn't, just click like to support me. And yeah, comment, subscribe, and above all, be back here next week. Same day of the week, same channel, same Docky on. For now, I'm signing off.